Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio. So, in the previous episode we did some stuff. I've forgotten already. I did it like yesterday. Um, we go over to the modules because modules are very much the important thing right now. There's a thing that happened actually. Last episode I filled it up so that it would produce 4 of these new productivity modules, and it made 3, and appears to have annihilated the alien artifacts that I put in, and that's really annoying because it can be difficult to acquire the alien artifacts, especially in the amounts that we're going to be needing them soon. Anyway, I came up with a solution while doing the narration for last episode to the whole problem of copper, of just hooking up the other copper line to it so that it was getting twice as much supply. So now everything's fine there, and that's brilliant. And everything and all the module production can be going at full speed again. So it's time to do some more research, and I choose Power Armor 2 so that we can get the super awesome Iron Man suit with twice as much space in it as this current one, and then we will be unstoppable. But anyway, we have a quick look at how the science production is going, and then I wander off and notice that the mining drill that I set up there is finished, so it's just that one there now. And then I go off to look at various other things. There's a lot of just sort of checking that. It's weird, it's like in previous episodes there's been a lot of running around checking things and finding they're all wrong, but now I'm running around and checking things and everything's just sort of fine. Usually we've got enough oil. What I'm doing right now is putting a bunch of the level 2 effectivity modules into the oil drills, because that will mean they are at 20% of their normal power usage rather than 60. And I noticed that the plastic production isn't quite enough, but that is because of the limits of the inserters rather than of the actual factory. So I make a quick modification there, set up some more assemblers so that it can all, not assemblers, inserters, so it can all come out twice as fast. Though looking back at that, I think some of that was unnecessary, because transferring from one container to another, thanks to my upgrades, you can do like 4 things at once. So maybe I only need 1 thing feeding into that chest and then 2 feeding out of it. But anyway, I decided to finish upgrading all of the assemblers on the circuit production line in case that does make a difference, but I don't think it actually does. And then I get some more of the level 2 effectivity modules so I can run around and fit them to another one of the oil drills. And we are starting to run out of actual oil deposits in that particular area. Luckily there's a crap ton all over the area around my base that I'll be able to fit things on, so put things on. So I'm probably never going to have to bring it in by train. It'll probably just get to a point where I have so many that are producing 0.1 that it produces enough to keep the entire supply going. But anyway, looking around, I noticed that the copper supply is actually down a bit. It's like, because it's being split into 2 things that are both feeding into the circuit production, it's now not enough, and it turns out that the actual smelting rate is not enough to feed all of that. So I try adding a couple more furnaces on to see if that makes a difference. And then I decided to go over and check the outpost, because it looks like we are not getting enough copper through that we need. And so eventually what we have stored in various chests will deplete, and then we'll have a big problem. So I have to clear a crap ton of trees out of the way, because there's millions of them around. And that could cause us problems later, because of course the trees are excellent for absorbing pollution. And that we're getting so many mining drills here now that it's going to start to generate a fair bit of pollution, and it might start spreading like over the sea. There is actually a fairly big pollution cloud over the big lake thing that we're next to, but at the moment it's not been enough to go over it. So we get the power armor research done, so I start working on military 4, and in the meantime you can see I'm building a crap ton of mining drills here. Just to make sure that we are supplied for all eternity. Also, you may have noticed my hotbar is getting extremely full thanks to all of the trees that I just filled it with. So I'm getting all this connected up nicely, getting an underground belt so that we can go nice and straight. And then I stick some substations on and everything gets powered, so that's all good. But the problem is now that we're producing too much copper to get through, so I upgrade everything to blue conveyor belts to fix that. Get a blue splitter, and all this stuff gets made blue, so that should all be enough to keep things flowing. And after watching it for a minute, I can see that the backed up ore starts to run down, and then making a modification there basically fixes the whole thing. So I hop back in the train, and you can see it's getting filled up a good 2/3 there. So that should be absolutely fine now, and I reckon it'll fill up further. You can see the whole system is nicely filled up, but the reason is that well, I traced it back. Suddenly all the copper was backed up, which was because the circuits were backed up, which was because the plastic was backed up. So I run over and find out that that's because we're not getting enough coal, because one of the miners ran out. Also, we get an attack on the south wall, which is interesting, because we only just built that, and we've not had any problems with that, with aliens coming through there. Well, there was the case where a couple of episodes ago there was an attack on the old copper outpost that I've now deconstructed, but I don't know. So set up this new thing here, a couple of guns just in case, and a new wall, and now I've got 3 mining drills working on that, so we should have plenty of coal forever, or a very long time at least. So having a look at the module production, everything's going at a lovely speed again. The plastic is slowly building up, and it should keep on doing so, and then everything will be fine. So moving on, we go and dump the insane amounts of wood and various random other bits of crap that we have into the chest before our inventory gets filled up, and then resupply ourselves on the various raw materials and such, and of course ammo. And then wandering down to the train station, I hop into the car and make my way over down to the south wall to inspect the damage. So you can see just a little bit of a scrape on the wall, and there's not much ammo used up, so it probably wasn't anything major really. So I drive off and start working on the rest of the wall, do a bit of damage to my car, but that should all be fine. So off we go, running along. Get a bit of lag while I'm doing that. For some reason, building the walls directly behind me caused a bit of a lag thing, and then once I sidestepped and started building them alongside me instead, it went away. So that's a bit of a weird thing. I'm not really sure what the nature of that was. But anyway, we build a crap ton of guns and then start filling them all up with ammo, and hop in the car and move it along a bit. And I had a quick check of the fuel, because of course I fueled it with like a dozen logs of wood rather than any other, like any coal or anything like that. So I make my way back home, weaving through all the trees in the middle of the night. Bit of repair work there, and I make my way back up to the main base, and I noticed we were out of alien signs, so I dump a good 20 more alien artifacts in there to keep things supplied. And then I wander over to module production, see how everything's going there. The plastic is now backed up nicely, and we've got a nice supply of various modules. I decided to upgrade the entire system to the level 3 assemblers. I don't know if there's that much point in it, but at the very least we can give things maximum efficiency without having to use the level 2 effectivity modules that are still in quite short supply. So everything looks all great there. Have a quick run down to see that the chest is filling up with plastic. Remember, I've got a crap ton in my inventory for when I was messing about with the plastic system earlier, so that's all good. Refill myself on the various circuits, and I noticed that I'm lacking in processing units, so I disconnect I remove the inserter that puts those onto the line so that the chest will fill up, and I can resupply myself on those, because soon enough I'm going to need a bunch of the processing units for various things. So looking at the train, you can see that it's now entirely filled up, and it's not being entirely emptied when it arrives, because we've now got the production high enough. So I start building a bunch more walls, grabbing a bunch more ammo and various materials needed to build turrets and such, though I do still have a bunch of them available. And I decided to drive over to the copper outpost in my car rather than take the train. Do a ton of damage to my car, have to do some repair work in the middle of the drive. And then I managed to do it again seconds later, trying to drive directly through a forest, so I have to do another repair job. And then I finally make it to my destination with the car half damaged again. So I start building the other part of the south wall, because it kind of has to have a side component because of the shape of the ocean and the area I've decided to cover with it. So I'm forging my way through the forest, building it all out, and then I run out of stone just before I connect up the two parts, which is annoying. I should have brought more really. And then after doing yet another repair job on the car, I make my way along a bit, doing some more damage to the car, and I start setting up all the turrets. So running along here, then run back, start resupplying them, well, supplying them for the first time, I suppose. 25 units of ammo in each, which should defend from hundreds of alien assaults should they ever happen for whatever reason, though I doubt they will, because that just seems unlikely, really. And I put all the ammo in there. End up using up all the ammo that I have, so I quickly make my way home before anything attacks me, though that's unlikely at this point, really. So I can get some resupplying done, and then next time I come along I can finally have the wall finished. So I'm back home, grab a bunch of ammo, but the thing is it's taking a while to get produced, so I'll have to do that later on when it's fully resupplied. In the meantime, I'll get on with random other things. So quick check of the power supply, see how everything's going, because I've made barely any changes in recent times. Of course, what I've been adding has been cancelled out by the fact that a lot of the systems have not been active, with signs being barely operational now because we don't need it to be. So I decided to fit the final couple of mining drills to that outpost there, so that we never have to build anything there again. We can just go there to fix things, and then some science happens at the wrong time and end up crashing into an electricity pole. But anyway, I decided to go visit the wall, clear out a bit of a gate. Of course, in future updates we'll have proper gates for this sort of thing, but for now I'll have to just make a hole in the wall, and I start murdering millions and millions of biters and all of their homes. There's this big sort of crescent of alien bases that I just wander along, killing everything that comes towards me. And of course, because there's been so little pollution in this entire playthrough, they've not finished evolving. So all of the original small biters that spawned when the game began are still there. And then once I kill all of those, there's just a couple of the medium-sized ones that spawn, and that's it. So it's actually really easy to kill the biters here. I just need to run in with the machine gun and murder them all, and I barely even need to have the armor at this point. And we get an attack on the south wall in the new bit. I'm not sure whether it's because of the extra pollution from adding in more mining drills at the copper base, or reducing the number of trees there, or whether it was in retaliation to the massacre that I just committed on their people. But either way, they seem to be angry about something, or maybe they're just trying to settle within my lands. But they are mine, I have claimed them. So I grab some more ammo, and I decide that I need to set up a new assembler. Unfortunately, this particular area was never supposed to have assemblers in. I just stuck that there because it was a space. And now I want to have two, so I'm trying to work out how to actually get them hooked up to both the copper and the steel. And I managed to get them with the copper, but then the steel is a bit of a problem. I try burrowing it underneath and then hooking it round, and then I can use a long-armed inserter to transfer it, but then I realise it's not going to work because of the particular positioning of that plastic belt there. So I scrap all that and put one over there and put one back in the original location, and see if I can do something there. So I've got it travelling along here, and then it goes underneath some stuff, and then it can be connected there, and then of course we have a problem with this other side. So I'm trying making a couple more modifications. It's a very convoluted sort of setup I've got going, but in the end it works. So we get this new, that we get this assembler hooked up, producing the ammo as usual. And then we go over to this one and we get it producing new shotgun shells, the upgraded special armor piercing shotgun shells, because I'm going to switch to this new weapon type so that I can become an even more effective killer of innocent aliens. So I harvest a bunch of processing units that have now built up. The thing is, I need 200 and we're still not quite there. I decide that because the entire system has practically stopped, I'll put some in so that things can be going for now. And hopefully next time I come along and visit we'll have another 50 and I can have the full supply. So anyway, we're coming to the end, and so it's time to mess about with the copper supply. The coal supply! I keep making that mistake. So now that a row's finished, I turn all these round, add a new row, hook that all up, get it all with effectivity modules and powered, and then I go over to the burner inserters, and I add another group of them to keep everything going for a while longer. And that's that for that. And we have so many chests full of coal now. If I'd known how much coal I was going to end up getting, I wouldn't have done it. Anyway, next episode we'll finish the south wall, do more stuff with modules, and hopefully get some power armor. So until then I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.